Okay, we've heard a lot already today about the importance of happiness, perhaps what it means to different people, how to find it, and how to measure it. Happy City is about taking all of that thinking, all of that great thinking, all of that important stuff that we're, in this room at least, pretty sold on, and helping to make it happen in real homes, real offices, real streets and buildings and communities around the UK. In some senses, listening to some of the speakers today, I've been thinking Happy City, in a sense, is like a city-sized model of action for happiness. We're trying to do a lot of similar things, but we're trying to do it with communities and create a tipping point at a city level. So who are we, and where does Happy City come from? Oh, I'm supposed to do this, hang on. That was the first one. And that's the second one. We've been working for the past 20 years in leadership, organisational change, community development and sustainability. In the past 7 or so, we've been working with communities and leaders from right around the world. We've been trying to work with the best of appreciative inquiry, solutions-focused, positive psychology and systems thinking in businesses and communities, and we've learnt a lot, we think, about what works and what really makes a difference, and how people can make positive change happen around them better. In terms of happiness, that learning has been really stark. People know what their ingredients are for happiness, and they're remarkably similar. I need Mark's map back up, really, but they're remarkably similar from Ghana to Glasgow, Lebanon to Lewisham, and Budapest to Botswana, to some of the places we've worked. And remarkably little of those ingredients for happiness require us buying more and more stuff, you won't be surprised to hear. Oh, I've gone backwards. I will get it in the end. I'll get it by the time we get to the end, won't I? As we've been moving around in those worlds, it's been increasingly clear that to solve some of our greatest challenges, really hard-nosed challenges like global warming, poverty and conflict, we in the West just need to, well, not just, but one of the things we need to do is consume less stuff. There's just not enough of it to go round. When people focus on what they have and what builds happiness, their levels of excessive consumption drop. It's quite a strong correlation. And levels of cooperation, generosity, and ultimately happiness grow. It's been a real pleasure for us experiencing firsthand that happiness work is a serious business, with positive benefits, for individuals of course, but for communities, the planet and beyond. As Professor Layard said earlier on, there is a worldwide hunger for this, but we've also found that there's a grassroots hunger, and we need to marry those two things up. Keep talking.
So, well, in 2009, in the autumn of 2009, we hatched a bit of a plan, and we flung the suitcases up in the loft and exchanged the sort of slightly glamorous, highly paid, globe-trotting stuff for the opportunity to see what happens if we really concentrate in one place. Could we apply these methods that are so well proven with small groups and communities at a city scale? Can we attract the creative potential of many to form that critical mass which will create a tip of growing interest and growing capacity for happiness into a kind of new mainstream? So where better to start than Bristol? We spent most of last year laying foundations, sort of doing all the preparation for what we hope will be a place-changing project. We already know that we can reach beyond the usual suspects. One of the frustrations is often that trap of rather preaching to the converted. And in keeping with Action for Happiness, our vision is to show what can happen when enough people focus their efforts on happiness, regardless of their age, gender, race, class, or any other element of background. So they say necessity is the mother of invention, and I've heard also that success is 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration, in which case we've kind of been inventing busily in a sauna for the past 18 months. It's felt pretty tough. But as a result, we have got a well-developed kind of strategy, and we've got branding and marketing tools and training packages and a whole range of things with which we can work with confidence. So Liz and I worked on this almost full-time alongside 2 sort of super volunteers. See one of them here, and there's another one upstairs somewhere or other, and about 8 others who are regular volunteers, more more with us today, and at least 80 others. So, we could only do this with the support of many. So far, we've run 2 community roadshows, going in with this idea of concentrating our energy in one small area of Bristol, if you like. We've done that twice, reaching about 1,500 people, I think, probably, through 40-odd different events. And then more piggybacking, if you like, in public events, we've reached at least 10,000 others right across the city. You'll get more of a sense of our strategy now, as we described just a few of the sort of partnerships. Partnerships are our key part of what we're doing, and activities that are similar, we think, with promise.
The cornerstone of our work is communications and campaigning. We heard earlier from the lovely lady from advertising, I haven't got her name here, but about how we're bombarded daily with a sort of endless wave of images telling us about what we're lacking and what stuff we need to be happy. Well, the goal, our societal goal of economic growth requires us, on some level, to be unhappy. We need to be enough dissatisfied to want to buy more this year than last, and to want to buy more next year than this. We have to keep on thinking we need more stuff to be happy. And so we're drip-fed just enough unhappiness to keep us buying more and more than we need each year. Well, we're trying to redress that balance, but we're not doing this in a top-down traditional way. We're challenging people, ordinary people around us, to start their own little ripples of action, guerrilla style. We've got teams of people distributing questions, provocations, actions in cafes and shops, libraries, parks and pubs. We've got kindness tokens being printed quietly at people's homes and handed out in exchange to strangers, and encouraging them to do some more random acts of kindness. People are creating their own happiness posters, putting them up in windows, notice boards and streets around them. In fact, I might encourage them maybe to steal a few of Action for Happinesses when we get back. We are also out and about at festivals and events across the city, interacting, asking questions, doing some improv theatre with people who are great at that, and different pop-up activities. This year, we're lucky enough to have been given one of the 3 main stages at the biggest West Country festival, the Bristol Harbour Festival, where about 100,000 people turn up for the weekend. And we've got the Happy City stage. And we're going to be challenging local musicians, comedians, activists, poets, the best of Bristol talent, to not just create entertainment on that stage, but make people not only happy, but make them think more about what growing happiness around them could really look like. We're hoping to use that as a real opportunity to start some more of those ripples. Oh, I've gone backwards. We're also developing, again, very strongly in partnership, we're not doing any of this on our own, plans to work with schools. It was great to hear that earlier on. Supporting teachers, parents and pupils to grow in ways that allow solutions within those schools to really prosper, that diversity within those pupils, those different strengths to shine, and help shift over from an I can't mentality to a we can across the pupil body and the parents. And alongside this, it's been interesting that you that people quite often talk about, that we're happier when we're young and when we're old. We're tapping into that wisdom by creating a project that brings some of those school children together with some of the elderly members of our society and getting them to challenge some of those assumptions each has about the other and gain the wisdom of both of those groups. And there's extraordinary wisdom, those amazing quotes that made us a little bit tearful earlier from those children. There's amazing wisdom in young people, and there's amazing wisdom in older people that we've already been interacting with about happiness. So we're trying to capture that in books and exhibitions so that that wisdom can get out into society and be spread a little bit more.